Okay, I apologize for the dead air. This is my first time ever doing this here. Hey, Paul, how are you? Fantastic. It is working. I have a brand new mic, and I have been told to keep my face in front of it. So, first and foremost, how does the sound? Is it in fact better than before? Give me a comment in the comment section. Fantastic. It sounds good. And I am using a brand new. It's called StreamYard. If anyone knows how to use it, please let me know. Because I am trying, I'm experimenting on you guys, and that's a good thing. All right, so we had somebody else who was going to try to be in here. I sincerely hope that Paul, if you found your way in here from the YouTube, from the Facebook page, I'm assuming it was all relatively straightforward. Okay, so one of the things I would like to do first and foremost is find out where my camera is. And guys, this is going to be a growth process. I am so much more accustomed to YouTube Live. Can't read a thing. But I'm trying this Facebook thing out because everyone's on Facebook. I would like to be here on Fridays. I know that everyone's got a schedule, and that is one of the downsides to having people all over the country, in fact, all over the world, picking a time when everyone can be here. But that's the beauty of the replays. So Friday, we'll come up with a catchy name for it, but Friday fun time with Frank and Forrest. So one of the things that I like to do is give my strategies cutesy little names. Back when I was developing my very first no-nonsense Forex algorithm, and then I built another one. I called them Pinky in the Brain because one was fast. But anyway, so in case you're curious, I called the original, and I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag now. I called the original one Frank for a very specific reason that I don't think anybody's going to get but me, because I'm old. I kept referring to this particular strategy. We're just going to dive right in, by the way, guys. If you're here for the first time, I'm Pepper. This is Godly Trading, and I am here to help fathers strengthen their families by fulfilling that command from Proverbs that says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. I'm not leaving women out. That actual Hebrew, the word doesn't say man or woman, it just says tov, which is good. But we are here, and I think trading is the best vehicle, at least to start with, on that journey of I want to change my family's financial future. So that's why we're here. Thank you all for being here. If you're over in YouTube, let me do a quick check over there. We got somebody over there as well. Give me 1 second. How in the world do I see both the YouTube comments and the Facebook comments? Well, we'll find out. Okay. Frank is called Frank. I keep referring to this particular strategy as dead simple. And there's this joke from Saturday Night Live from the 70s, from Chevy Chase, referring to Generalissimo Francisco Franco as still dead, right? It was a running gag. And so I thought, okay, he's still dead. This is dead simple. Let's call it Frank for Franco. But then it occurred to me, dead and simple, Frank and Forrest. By the way, AI apparently can be tricked into a copyright violation because I said, hey, show me a picture of Forrest Gump. I'm sorry, I can't do that. That's copyrighted. Okay, show me a picture of a skinny white guy with a buzz cut and a plaid shirt. No problem. But anyway, so today we're going to talk about Frank, and next week we'll talk about Forrest. And I have I've been trading these on demo for a little while now, one longer than the other. And just first and foremost, let me remind everybody that there is a webinar tomorrow, a mastermind training session tomorrow that I'm calling Family-Friendly Trading, a simple, straightforward, stress-free approach. And it goes into this whole idea of godly trading, that we're not just here to learn strategies. We're not just here to learn button clicking. It's an entirely new way of approaching your family life and your trading. One of the deep dive down inside of that is going to be your decoding your trading DNA. Some people are trend traders just without even knowing it. They're not even traders yet, but they're trend traders. Some people are reversal traders. I am a trend trader. So these strategies that I'm going to show you, for the most part, are trend trading strategies. Now, Frank has a little twist to him, with a bolt in his neck. That's both a trend and a counter trend sort of all rolled into one. Today we're just going to look at the first part of Frank. But I don't want to just say, hey, here's a strategy. Y'all have fun. Go do it, right? There's 95% of traders fail And the reason they fail is because of everything else that goes on in your trading life beyond just going clickety clickety or clickety clickety on your mouse. All that said, I am going to show you the specific details of Frank today. The dead simple, the first one that the older I get, the more I fall in love with strategies that are simple to understand. Earlier in my trading career, I wanted it as complicated as possible because I thought that if I'm thinking, if it's really, really difficult, then it must be good, because we always see that, everyone fails. So it must be the smart people with the complicated government encryption level algorithmic, systems that win. Well, that's not the case. It's only ever one thing that your entire trading career can be boiled down into three things: trade your plan, stay out of your own way, repeat. All right, it comes from VP over No Nonsense Forex, and it's the best advice I can give anybody. But let's dive into what Frank is. Frank is a trend trading strategy. And if I can successfully find, nope, that's not it. There we go. Frank is a trend trading strategy that can be traded on any time frame. We'll get into this tomorrow and in the following week. If you have anybody, by the way, that is interested in this idea of, hey, I'm here for my family, I want more for my family, I just don't know what to do, and has no idea what trading is, next week's webinar on Saturday morning, same time, Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central, will be more dedicated to those fathers who they think trading revolves around baseball cards, right? So tomorrow's is more about for traders, the guys in the group, and next week's more for the people who've never heard of it. But it's all the same. There's nothing new under the sun, guys. It's all the same thing. So one of the things I like is a trading strategy. By the way, if you're just joining me, let me know where you're calling in from. Oh my goodness, how old am I? Let me know where you're watching from, and I will do my best to keep up with the YouTube as well as the. I have something in front of the chat, so we'll see what happens. So here is Frank, and I've got this on gold. I'm not only a trend trader, I'm also a swing trader, and I'm a Forex trader. So three very specific things. Trading encompasses anything in the world, and that's what I love about trading. I also love the fact that trading, when we talk about this idea, hey, I want to help my family. I want to set them up for a future that I didn't have. Or possibly I want to set them up for a future that I haven't been able to give them yet. The bar to entry to start with trading is so low. I mean, you can start trading with $10. Now, you're not going to be trading Tesla stock, but there's ways to do that. At the end of the day, trading is trading. Whether you're trading stock or Forex or options or futures, it's all the same thing. It all revolves around having a reason to get into a trade and then getting out when that reason's over with. That was Dennis. I'll come up with the quote on that one in a minute. So this is a trend strategy. Could be traded on any time frame. And there's another term there, fractal. When you have a strategy it's the same as you go down and down and down and down into smaller bites. This is fractal. You can trade it daily chart. I've never tried it on a tick chart. Has anyone out there in either of these two streams, has anyone out there ever traded a tick chart? If you have, please let me know, and I will pray for you. I've never traded. I kid. I've never traded a tick chart before. So what this is, again, dead simple. It is a single moving average and a candlestick formation. And there's some logic behind it. But at the end of the day, that is it. And I've got this strategy. The thing you're seeing here, this is TradingView. And I love TradingView, though I don't pay for the premium version. I love TradingView because it is sort of the default. If anybody's going to try something on TradingView, there's a free account there. And you can trade any particular vehicle, whether it's stocks or bonds or futures or Forex or whatnot. And the other thing that's great about it, I love MT5. That's how I trade personally, but TradingView is all cloud-based. You can, from your phone to anybody's login, it looks the same. So I just went and took the strategy that I had found and went to ChatGPT and had it code it for me. I know how to code a little bit. Well, I know how to code fairly well in MT4. I didn't even try to code in MT5. And I don't know anything about PineScript. But the good news is ChatGPT does. Now, it took me half a day of arguing. Do this. Oh, you've said you did that? You really didn't do it. No, do it again. No, do it again. Make it green. No, I said green. Making that picture of Frankenstein. I don't want to get into it, but It kept saying it was doing things. No, Frankenstein is on the left. No, it's not. ChatGPT. It's on the right. Make him on the left. Here you go. Here's on the left. No, he's not. Anyway, all that to say, I had ChatGPT create this indicator for me on the screen. Now, I have since then gotten an actual coder who created this as an algorithm so that I could automated backtest this thing, and I'll show you that in a second. But I have rambled on enough, and I apologize. I'll get better at this, or possibly worse. So it's a single moving average, the whole moving average. Love the whole moving average. One of my favorite ones out there, and it's an engulfing candle. Now, here's how the rules go. If the whole moving average is green, then you're waiting for price to be below the whole moving average and have an engulfing candle. And in this case, like you see right here, this is gold. Whole moving average is green. Price came down below and had this candle engulfs that one. If you don't know what an engulfing candle are, I don't trade candlestick patterns as a rule. There are so many. You can go down. Has anyone ever out there ever traded candlestick patterns of any type? Give me a yes or no. Where is the YouTube chat? I can't see it over there. Oh, you know what? My camera's in front of it. I do apologize. Hope I didn't make anybody sick doing that. I need to figure out a way to figure that out. If you ever traded candlestick patterns before, some of them are incredibly predictive. Some of them are not. To me, the ones that are the most useful, I mean, the spinning top formation is great because it says, hey, no, market didn't know what to do. That's fantastic. The shooting star and the hammer. Now, the hammer is also referred to as the hanging man, but I don't think YouTube lets us say those words. So the shooting star and the hammer are fantastic indicators. But the engulfing candle is also a great candlestick formation. And I've actually got one of my videos on YouTube on don't just memorize candlestick formations. Try your best to think about the logic that went into it. What actually happened inside that? Because this green bar that we're seeing, right, that represents millions and millions and millions of transactions of that battle between buyers and sellers. And it tells a story. And so an engulfing candle tells a story. Price closed here yesterday. And it opened here today. And it maybe dropped a little bit. And then it recovered everything and then took off. And it ate up the entire day yesterday. So you see this here. That's all this is, right? So it's a moving average is green. And this engulfing pattern says there is massive buying power because the buyers came in here, gave up a little bit, and then said, nope, we're taking over, and they totally engulf it. So the strategy simply says you're going to go in with a pending order, and your entry is going to be the high of the day, and your stop loss is going to be the low of the day, and that's it. And you set the thing for the next day. And you can tweak that if you want to with rules that say, okay, I'm not going to go in at the high and the low. I'm going to give it 10% extra on the entry and the high and the low, or I'm going to consider the trade to have expired if I don't get filled within a certain period of time, right? So if after this engulfing candle we'd had a down day and a down day and a down day and then an up day, well, okay, that maybe this candle is no longer valid. But you can see right here, I took this trade here. I'm testing this on demo. I would highly recommend everybody test as many strategies as you want to. Test them out on demo. I love to give a 6 month. Sometimes I'm not that patient before I put money into it. I'm doing this one for 6 months. Forrest is already into his second month. Forrest is into his second month, so I don't have much left to go on that one. I don't know if I'll last 6 months. But you can see here's what happened. So the logic of this is, price is basically in an uptrend. And the sideways movement or the down movement didn't last long enough and wasn't volatile enough to affect the whole moving average enough to cause it to turn red. Now, if it had turned red in the back green, that's fine. And then we get this candle here. So I set this, and here was your entry right here at the high, and here's your stop loss of it low, and you can see where we are. After that, it's just what are the rules that you like to have on trade management? Because strategy is nowhere near as important as risk management and trade management. That's part of it's in the book. By the way, if you're coming to the webinar tomorrow, I'm actually, one of the giveaways I've got is if you stick through to the end, I've got the what's it called? The electronic book version, the ebook. I've got the ebook version of my book. Where's my book at? Here it is. Trading with Joy that I'm giving away. to everybody who attends. It says that in the book and everywhere else you've seen, risk management and trade management are so much more important than strategy. And that's one of the things I hate about, I say hate, it's a strong word, I don't like about social media is that most of social media in the trading world, give me 1 second, I'm going to lean around my camera and look for comments from YouTube. They teach the one piece, which is clickety. And that's why 95% of traders fail. So for me, I always like to set an initial amount of money that I take off the table. And it's usually 1-to-1. And at 1-to-1, I take half off the table or 1/4 or whatever I have back tested. And I move my stop loss to break even most of the time. And then I'm trading with house money because at that point, you've got no risk associated. You can just let it sit forever. So in this particular trade on gold, we hit our 1-to-1 the next day. The day after we got in, we hit our 1-to-1. And then we hit 2-to-1 like 2 days later. And we had a peak of, if you're just going of wicks there, 5.5-to-1. And we're still going on this trade. So that's one trade. Let me show you some that I've taken here recently. Then I'm going to show you the algorithm version and the back test results from that algorithm. And I would highly recommend anybody, if you run across this strategy, you think this is a fantastic manual strategy, and I'm going to trade it once a week manually, I would still spend the $100, maybe $150, to have someone write a code for this thing, create an algorithm, an automated system, so that you can back test thoroughly and then go trade it manually, right? It's just that one piece. That's what I'm doing with this. I have no real desire to trade this thing on a small time frame, manual, algorithmically, automated. I might, but this is such a great daily swing chart. But I'm not going to sit here and manually calculate, 28 Forex pairs and 7 indices and all of that. I'm just going to spend $100, get it coded for me, go click and have it spit out the results. All right. Because there are some tweaks you got to make to this thing. Like, for instance, how much money do I take off the table at 1-to-1? Should I move to break even or not? So let's just run through some here. Here was one that was from earlier in the week. You can see whole moving average is up. We had price had closed below it. We had our signal right here, and which was an engulfing pattern. And when price was below the whole moving, and it was green. And so here's your entry. We pull back a little the next day, and then you can see we may or may not have hit our 1-to-1 with that. I'm not going to take the time to look at it, just on demo. And if we had hit our 1-to-1, then we probably hit our break-even stop loss, which is fantastic. Hitting singles, getting on base, will put you in the Hall of Fame, right? Batting 300, striking out 7 out of 10 times, and getting on base every time will get you into the Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame. So I'm okay with hitting TP1 and falling back and getting stopped out at break even because I made money on the thing. Why would I not be? Aussie Kiwi. Here's one we got in and we pulled back and did not get stopped out, and now we're about 30% drawdown on that one. Euro Aussie. Here's the stop out, right? Doesn't always work because remember the logic behind this. Price fell and went sideways, but it went sideways with a fairly significant pullback. It had every indication of saying, okay, we got in the next day. Okay, we pull back. Think about if you were watching this thing live, right? You got in the very next day. It pulled back about halfway, and you think, oh, you got this rain candle. Oh man, this thing is heading down. Look at this. It's forming an M, right? It's a chart pattern, not a candlestick pattern. This thing is going down. Well, it didn't. It rebounded. Look, I love a strategy that returns 60 to 65% win rate. That's not a return. That's a win rate, which means you're going to lose 35 to 40% of the time. This was a stop out. You have to separate. My number one piece of advice to anybody trading, especially younger traders, don't, if at all possible, don't ever think it's a win or it's a loss. Just remove those terms from your vocabulary. It's a profitable trade or it's an unprofitable trade, because we, especially in America, especially the English language, winning and losing has so many emotional connotations. So don't think of it as a loss, because that's going to send you down into the doubt and discouragement spiral. It's an unprofitable trade. This is one of my 4 out of 10s. Euro yen. You see, we got into it. The very next day, we hit 1-to-1, and we hit 2-to-1, and now we are at, we maxed out around 2.5-to-1. We'll just see where that one goes. Pound US. That's not one of them. That's, what's this blue thing up here? We'll get into that in a minute. That's a whole different strategy. It's a variant of this strategy. One that I hate, but is very good. Because it goes against my trading DNA. And we're 20 minutes in, I might not be able to get to it. So here's another one. We almost hit our 1-to-1 and we pulled back. But also, don't just look at the individual candle. Don't just look at the signal. Think to yourself, what's actually happening with price? And if you look, and can I draw on the screen here? If you look, price is going dead sideways. The price isn't really moving whatsoever. So the fact that it's pulling back, it just means that it tried to break out and couldn't do it. Most initial breakouts of sideways consolidation fail the first time they try. It just happens. US yen, we hit our 1-to-1. Okay, don't know why there was a green signal here. You know what? This is not one. Clearly, I did that the other day for a different reason. So now that I've shown you the indicator, how the strategy works, does anybody have any questions real quick before I jump into the algorithm and the backtest data on Frank? Does anybody have any questions about this? And as I'm finding my screen, let me know if you have any questions. Let me jump over here to where's the chart? Okay, the chat on YouTube. I got to figure that out more better for next week. All right, let me dive into what this thing looks like on. This is MT5, which is what I love to trade. This is I have this my prop firm account with DarwinX. We'll talk about them at some point. I love DarwinX. They have an amazing, what I believe to be a what's it called? Like Elon Musk, and he breaks the model and disruptive. They have an amazing disruptive model for the prop firm industry that I love. I love everything about it, and we'll talk about it another time. So this is the algorithm that I had coded in. I think, like I said, you go to a particular website, and they've got people all over the world who will code for you. And there's a fellow in Vietnam I've been using for about 6 months now. Never paid more than $100 for any fully functional algorithm. An indicator will cost me $20, that kind of thing. So let me show you just the basic results of what we're looking at. So I just ran a test on all 28 pairs plus S&P, gold, silver, Apple, Tesla, and that's the 4 hour. So this is what I love about just back testing. You say, okay, well, the US yen on default settings. What's the default setting? Moving stop loss to break even, taking 50% off the table of the return of your profit at 1-to-1, and taking 25% off at 2-to-1, and letting the rest of it trail with a stop loss, with a trailing stop. That's what default settings are for this. And I think it's like a 3-candle expiration. And the whole moving average, I believe, is set to a 9-period weekly. Well, US yen was at $5,000 return for 1 year. But we got that up to $20,000 return with just some basic tweaks. So we took the moving average and we stretched it out. All right, we made it a little bit slower. Took 25% off at first take profit, and the rest of it completely off at the second take profit. Sometimes you have 2, sometimes you have 3. So I love this system for testing. Like I said, even if you're not planning on trading it automatedly. There's another term for it I can't quite think of. I'm going to do that to prove to everybody, hey, here's what the strategy looks like if you want to try trading it. I've got 6 months worth of live test data for everybody. But let's go back to here. S&P was at 11th. Hang on. This is a 4 hour. I apologize. I just realized that's my 4 hour settings. Well, let's take a look. All right, so I had it at 11,000 for default settings on the 4 hour, and I managed to get it up to 20,000 again. Look at the payout. People say, well, what's your criteria? What are you looking for? What is it? What's the number that when you see it, you go, that's it. That's what I'm looking for. For me, it's return over drawdown on the one hand, and expectancy or sometimes payoff, or how much am I expecting to earn per trade on the other hand. It used to be win rate, and that was just strictly trying to quiet the barrel of monkeys in my head. The more I won, even if I was winning less money, the calmer I was. I have since put that behind me. But I like to see return over drawdown at 2.5 or more. So this one, you've got $20,000 return in 1 year and 4% drawdown in 1 year. So that's 5-to-1. Yes. That's a 5-to-1 ratio of return over drawdown. 20% return, 4% drawdown. I'm loving that. Am I going to trade the S&P 4-hour live personally? I don't know. I'm really more of a Forex guy, not an S&P guy. We'll see. If I can add a piece of the puzzle to make, an extra 10, 15, even 5% just by adding it to a system, why would I not do that? So, all of that to say, you can hear, what have I got in here? I've got gold. Let's load up an index. Do I have more than one index loaded up? The UK 100. I have never in my life traded the UK 100. So let's see what the basic settings are. Do I even have the basic settings available to load? I do. I do not. So let's just look at it on, I think it's 3. And I'm risking 1% per trade. Do not move stop loss to break even. This is going to be 2. This is going to be 50% at take profit number 1. This is going to be 3. So you have 3 positions here. And it's going to be a weekly 9-period moving average. Let's see what that looks like on the UK 100. And you hit start, and it goes and it does. This is what I love about automated back testing. Like I said, even if you're planning on trading it manually, back test it with an automated system. So this gave us a negative return on 1 year. Is it 1 year? It is 1 year. So I'm not going to do much, but I'm just going to show you, okay, well, what would happen if I move stop loss to break even? That's what you do. You just change one little thing at a time. You don't want to change too many things, right? Because that's called curve fitting. You're making your results fit perfectly for that one time period. So the less flexibility you have in some senses, the more you can trust in the results. All right, so I changed that. It didn't change it much. Let's just do one more thing. Let's go, instead of a weekly 9, let's go to a daily 9. Let's just see what that looks like. So we're at about a minus 2.5% return for 1 year, moving our stop loss to break even. We're going to speed the whole moving average up a lot. And it made it worse. All right, so that probably means if we slowed the sucker down, let's go to, I said that was the last one, I lied. Let's go to a 30 weekly and see if slowing the whole moving average down would have a positive effect on our return. Now, I think the best we saw here was like minus 22, minus 23. We'll see what this gives us. Back test, minus 20. So it's moving in the right direction. So that lets us know we can make these little bitty changes. And yeah, sure, that might mean that when you go over here to Frank, you say, okay, well, I'm trading US yen. Where's my settings for US yen? But you can change these on here. Now, that's about all the time I wanted to take from you guys today. There's another, I mentioned it, there's another option here for Frank. I will go over it next time. Frank has a reversal element that you can add to it. So you basically have these 2 strategies in one, that basically a pullback and a trend resumption, and then a reversal. I think, well, hey, look at this reversal. It didn't work. Well, this reversal should only be applied in a circumstance where supply and demand comes into effect. So a little bit of a twist, doesn't add hardly anything else to the complexity of this. It's still a dead simple strategy. We'll get into that next time. Hopefully go over Forrest. The results on Forrest so far is somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.5 to 2%, which is what I'm looking for. 2% a month, I'm happy all day long. All right, guys, that is it for me for today. Remember, tomorrow, tell your friends, tell anybody that you can. We've got the family-friendly trading, what's it called? Family-friendly trading, a stress-free, a simple stress-free approach. So that's tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central. And with that, guys, I will see you all next week.